In this video, I'm going to give you an update on what I've learned about promoting my artwork on LinkedIn. Hi everyone, I'm Mike. I'm an artist based in the UK and I sell my originals and prints all across the world. My work has appeared on various different products and I'm always interested in broadening the audience for my artwork and making new connections. Now I have posted a video about using LinkedIn to market your artwork, and I think I said at the end of that video, oh, maybe I'll do one of these LinkedIn videos once a month, and I was a little bit shocked to realize that the previous video was well over a year ago, but I'm going to kind of talk about that in just a moment as well. But the idea of this video is to give you a few key tips on things I've learned, things that worked for me and things that don't work so well. So at the time of the last video, I think I had about 47 followers. Now I'm up to 226, and obviously that's not massive growth in terms of numbers, but it's an increase of about a factor of 5 or something, 4 or 5. And the key thing to note here is 95, 98% of these people I don't know at all. Okay, so this brings me to my first key tip for using LinkedIn. So as an artist, for example, I paint quite a lot of cattle and sheep. I'm based in the UK, so I could look up in LinkedIn cattle farmer. All right, so when I do that, LinkedIn will suggest various people who are cattle farmers from all over the world. I think, however, if I put in cattle farmer UK, then that narrows it down to people in the UK. And then some of these I can connect with. So let's say I wanted to connect with Tom Cope. I don't know him at all. What I do is I hit connect and it says you can add a note to personalize your invitation to Tom Cope. Now I always add a note. Oh, I accidentally hit send there. Never mind, not the end of the world. We'll try Katie. So I'm going to try and add a note. I hit the wrong button. So what I would normally do is something like this. I do, hi Katie. I'm an artist based in Devon, UK. And then because I've looked up cattle, I would say cattle are one of my favorite subjects. I would like to connect, please. And I just say kind regards, Mike, and then I normally put my website address there as well, to kind of give the person an immediate link to my website to show that I'm legitimate. Now, so what I'm doing here is basically, as you can probably tell already, I'm just making it formal but brief so as not to waste the person's time, but to make it clear I am a real person. I'm sending out a personalized note. Now this bit here where I've said cattle are one of my favorite subjects, that's absolutely true, and I never put anything false in any of my emails, but I do have other favorite subjects as well. So what I mean by that is if I was writing to somebody who specialized in sheep, I would put sheep are one of my favorite subjects, which is also true. If it was a more general agricultural contact, I'd put farm animals are one of my favorite subjects. However, if I was writing to an interior designer, which is another key tip I'll come to in a moment, excuse me, then I would just say something like I paint a range of subjects, including, and then I would list off all the subjects that I paint. Okay, so I can then send that to Katie, and she and Tom may or may not decide to connect with me. So LinkedIn also, if I go back to my profile page here, LinkedIn will also suggest other people like artists and art lecturers, gallery owners, and so on that I might like to connect with. Once you've started connecting with a few people that you think are your target audience, then you get people suggested from that profession. So that's really cool. So the key takeaway is you can look up people of a specific profession that you think might be interested in your work, and you can target a particular region. So one of the things I've been doing is rather than saying cattle farmer, which I would call it in the UK, I might do cattle rancher, because obviously the US is a much bigger market. And That hasn't led to fame and fortune yet, but I have started to build a small network. Now, onto the downside of this. The downside is it's very much cold calling, and it's quite time consuming because it maybe took me a minute or two to send that one little message. And obviously, you can copy and paste, so you can be fairly efficient with these things. But nevertheless, to do, say, 20 contacts, it's going to take you 20 minutes. And I would say, generally speaking, on a good day, it's like a 50% success rate in terms of making new contacts. On a bad day, it might only be 2%. So that's really the main reason why my following hasn't grown dramatically, and why I haven't been posting, masses of videos on how to, work with LinkedIn, because it was really quite time consuming for relatively little reward. And I feel as artists, we always have to balance, how do you want to spend your life as an artist? If you've got a day job, family responsibilities, health problems, something else you want to be doing, chances are you've got quite limited time. And generally speaking, I think artists want to spend that time making art. So I'm always trying to promote my art as widely and as effectively as possible, but in as time efficient a way as possible. So because I found that wasn't working all that efficiently, I've sort of adopted a different approach that I'm using now. And again, I'll come back to that in a moment. But if I just go to my profile, and I just want to show you some of the cool things. A couple of cool things did happen, though. One of which was I was contacted by a rancher in Canada that I'd connected with just at random. And he very kindly said, if you want to use some footage from my YouTube channel to inspire a painting, then, please feel free to do so. So I took that opportunity. I thought that was, really kind of him to reach out like that. And I created a sketch and also a preliminary study of a Canadian cowboy on horseback with some cattle in it. And if I can get there and find it, I will show you. Okay, so here is the little preliminary sketch done with an ink marker pen. So what I did, so this was suggested by Curtis McClear from McClear Ranching in Saskatchewan, Canada. So if you happen to be watching this, Curtis, thank you very much again for your suggestion. I will eventually get around to doing the final painting, because it's something I definitely want to do. But here you go. I put a little prelim sketch here. So the idea is the Canadian cowboy is sat on horseback, and we've got these cattle off in the background. And this was inspired by me taking a screenshot of a paused video on Curtis's YouTube channel. So I then used that to inspire a painting of the same cowboy, but I kind of did a preliminary study rather than a fully worked up painting. Just kind of, here we go. Didn't put the cattle in, but you can kind of get the idea there. So there's some modern touches in the sense that, this is obviously a modern day image that I'm referencing. So, the guy's got sunglasses on and so forth. So, I'm looking forward to that. So for that reason alone, even if I don't end up selling the painting I end up creating, just the opportunity to explore a subject I probably wouldn't have even thought to do before, it's been worth me, putting my stuff up on LinkedIn. Now, in the previous video, I mentioned I was posting videos and so episodic videos like this one. This one's about 11 minutes long of quite long paintings. So this was maybe, I can't remember exactly, the creation of this painting was originally 90 minutes or maybe 2 hours or so. And I chopped that up into roughly 10-minute long episodes. And then what I've been doing is posting a painting, and then a video episode, and then a drawing, for example, another drawing or painting, and then I'll put details of a sale that I've had recently, with details of the country the customer is from, and then I'll do another little video clip. And the idea of the episodic paintings was that, I may have mentioned this in the previous video, but I like the idea of making my social media, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever it is, I like it to be as if I had a real life studio, shop, possibly with a cafe in it, and I'm painting away, at the window on the high street in a city centre. So people would wander along and they can kind of see what I'm working on. And then, in the real world, if I had those sort of premises, people would be able to walk along, twice a week, see a painting develop, and, it kind of helps establish you as a real working artist. And I think one of the problems that we have as artists is that, a lot of time and work goes into the creation of a painting. And then if you stick it up on Instagram or whatever, it's just there. And people can look at it for 2 seconds and it's gone. So my hope was that by, doing episodic videos, people would, see the creation of the painting over a longer period of time. So even if the painting only took me 2 hours to create, if I split that up into a dozen episodes and I post those over a period of 2 weeks, one a day, people are becoming gradually more invested. This is my thinking, because they're watching the videos gradually. So it seemed, I think it's a better reflection on social media of the amount of work and experience that's gone into the painting than just a single snapshot, which disappears on their feed. However, what I found was, for these long videos, when I look at my analytics, basically, there might be quite a lot of impressions, but nobody's watching them in a nutshell. Nobody's taking those 10 minutes. And that makes sense to me because most people on LinkedIn are, working people. This is a professional social media site. So if they're in an office, even if they're in an office, if they're an accountant for, a ranch or something like that, they don't have the time in their working day to sit down for 10 minutes and, watch a video. So what I've been doing more recently is chopping up my long form videos into much shorter episodes, typically just under a minute long. So what I'm currently trying, I'm going to do another general video on this idea at some point. But what I'm currently trying is cutting up these episodes. So for example, this painting took me around, not sure exactly, maybe an hour and a half to complete, something like that, maybe an hour and 15. And I chopped it up into episodes of less than 1 minute. So that's going to give me roughly 75 episodes. And I'm publishing one a day, every weekday. And my hope is that, by having 75 episodes, you might sort of feel, well, that's kind of swamping or possibly saturating social media, isn't it? Well, maybe so. I'll find out in a couple of months. I don't think that's the case there, because I think if I'm coming across this, what's happening is, somebody's just scrolling through their feed and they just see me moving my brush for like 10 seconds. Oh yeah, he's creating that painting. And I reckon they probably miss the next episode and the next episode because they're not on LinkedIn that often. And if they are, they've probably got a pretty big following. So I'm one in a sea of millions, but then they catch the next one. It's like, oh, he's working on the cow now, cool. And then maybe 5 days later, then they see some more color being added and so on. So that's my idea. And what I'm currently doing at the moment with LinkedIn is just ensuring that every weekday I publish one of these 1 minute episodes. And then when I get the opportunity, if I've got a bit more time and I've created some new work, for example, like with this one, I'll publish a photograph of the recent painting. And then I go back to my videos, and then the next time I get the opportunity to publish something, it could be a new piece of work like this one, or it might be an older piece, it doesn't really matter. Then I'll stick another photo up. And that way, what I'm hoping to do is the main content, the video clips, is targeted very much at the customer I have in mind for LinkedIn. But at the same time, I'm including variety in my feed by showing the wider range of work that I create. So that's where I am at the moment, basically. So I'm gently plugging away at it. I haven't worked out how to unlock suddenly gaining millions of followers in a short amount of time, nor have I managed to unlock the magic formula to making hundreds of sales through LinkedIn. But I'm going to keep going, just gently, see where it leads me. And I hope at least there have been some tips for you if you are starting out as an artist or starting out on LinkedIn. Perhaps it will inspire you to give it a go and you know, maybe my ideas aren't for you, but perhaps they'll inspire other ideas of your own. Either way, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer those. And thanks very much for watching this video. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. Bye for now.